avoiding an issue where maybe there can be like loss of jobs or even income, you understand? Or even like an issue maybe if maybe it gets to a point where it also affects the day-to-day running of the country itself. So I don't necessarily think that I think the issue of closing down certain departments must not just be a decision that is made by the ANC, but I think it's something that should table in Parliament where the House, the National Assembly can basically debate as to exactly what needs to happen, which departments do they feel that need to close, because closing down departments does have an effect, even though, yes, there's already like a wasteful expenditure with so many departments, within government, but even that is not, not justified just closing down a department haphazardly without proper consultation. But I think the best house to make this decision will be the National Assembly, going forward.
Umatamela is doing this for the third time, and he's not even serving his actual term, being elected from the national election. Does this cabinet reshuffle sort of pose a negative or creates a negative impression about him as a president in future, or this is just one of those words we'll just say but we don't really mean?
I think I agree with you, because that this is basically the third time indeed, and there hasn't really been like a decision, especially from what he had promised. There hasn't really been a decision that is reflective of what he has promised. So, I mean, a lot of people are anticipating, for example, merging of departments, even the removal of ministers, for example, of social development, Minister Batabile. Most people think that the issue with her is like her alignment with the former president. But for most people understand like the national politics, the issue was basically the issue with SASSA a few months ago, where there was an issue with the social security services, in South Africa. Such things where ministers were incompetent. So those are things that he had promised, that he would respond to. But the only thing that happened is that there was only moving of one minister to another position, and it does not necessarily solve the problem that we are facing in the country. So I think there needs to come a time where the president needs to decide exactly and make those harsh decisions, even if they have, negative consequences. But I think at the end of the day, it's decisions that need to be made that will basically improve as well the quality of the national executive.
I'm not jealousing Minister Stella here, and I know she's currently everybody else's darling. But I wanted to talk about last question, something very, very incredible. The current Minister of Home Affairs, Usiyabonga Cwele's wife, is serving a prison time for drug trafficking, and his husband has been appointed Home Affairs. Does this have any bearing in total on the image of the Ministry of Home Affairs at all? Can we make a link?
Well, it depends, you understand? But I mean, there could be a link because, one, the issue with like the ministerial position is the idea that it's a high-profile job, and if you are married to someone, for example, who's been involved in such things, then the question would be, even before you became a minister, what was your role in eradicating, or what was your role in ensuring that such things that happen?
True.
And if it's still continuing, so we need to ask ourselves as a country as to what has he done, to respond to that? What has he done to try and stop that? And I think if there's nothing that's been done, then he's not the best candidate, to have as a minister. And I think I might be sticking ahead of myself here, but I think being married to someone and knowing that and spending the rest of your life with that person as well, but it also reflects on the person that you are. What do you get tolerate? What do you get to accept? So those are the questions we need to ask ourselves. And if there hasn't been any active, response to that issue, then we basically need to ask ourselves if we have the best Minister of Home Affairs, in this day and age. But also, we also need to be very careful of always associating, the conduct of partners of, ministers or any other person for that matter to the person themselves, and say just because the wife is, is behaving this way, then we have a problem with the husband. But there ought to be a link. We must be able to link that to the minister and say, but why isn't the minister doing A, B, C, and D to respond to that? So it must be something material that can be attributed to the minister. So I think in this issue, it is something material that needs close attention.
Just before I let you go, Unomvula Mkonya has been awarded another ministerial post despite performing badly on those last two, water and also communication. What's your reaction on that?
So we need to have like an honest conversation as a nation and be honest with ourselves that one, the primary requirement for a minister, in South Africa is not competency, but it's an issue of loyalty as to have you been loyal to the organization, you understand? So that's where people's credentials come in. Not necessarily good credentials, but the idea of how long have you been in the organization. I mean, Minister Mvula, for example, has been a member of the African National Congress since she was very young. Mama Albertina Sisulu, for example, one of the people that raised her in the African National Congress. So it's not easy for a political party to decide that that today they're just kicking someone like that out or chucking her out, because it's always about loyalty and the fact that we have to look after our own. The Constitution itself is not reflective of that. The Constitution speaks about people who uphold the Constitution, who are dedicated, but those are just the administrative parts of being a minister. But the politics supersede everything that's in the Constitution, that's in like the rules that govern ministers. But everything lies with the political party, and it depends on whether or not the person is favored with the political party. And their capacity and what they've done comes secondary, but one thing that's primary is a person's position and alignment with the political party. And I think the role of Nomvula as well basically has shown that we basically draw inference and say that it's because of how vocal she is in the ANC and how effective she is in the ANC that keeps giving her the favor of being in the ministerial position. But then again, it's the same issue whether they move one minister to another position. We need a president, and Cyril really needs to take that decision to say these people need to be kicked out, because they haven't performed for the past 2 or 3 terms. And I think he just needs to make that decision and take the hard line. But until then, the issue of cabinet reshuffle is just going to become, it's going to become redundant, because we know that they're just going to move a certain minister to another position when there's only a resignation. But until now, we still haven't seen anything effective with these reshuffles.
Well, thank you so much for your input. We'll talk more on other developing issues as time goes by. But I enjoyed talking to you, and thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much for having me.
All right, cheers. Okay, let's take a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue. I want to touch on the issue of the repo rate because I don't think we understand it that much, but hopefully, our next analyst will be able to explain it better. You're listening to One Nation FM. This is The Robust View. All right, I think we're having a technical problem, but we'll fix it. Okay, let's go for a net break, and then we'll come back.
Also, it's good to know that you can go to one trusted store for all your techno needs. Take a trip to Alcel Polokwane CBD to view a wide range of quality and branded computers, printers, scanners, air conditioning, IT accessories, networking, cartridges, and so much more. Alcel is also a supplier of bulk airtime. Situated at 16 Risik Street, shop number 2, or call 015-297-8666 for reliable and friendly service. Alcel, your techno-savvy store. Our price is our pride.
Are you looking for property? Well, look no further. AMC Property Sales is the best deal in town. Whether you are selling, buying property, looking for property investment, or simply rental collection, AMC Property will definitely deliver. Call us on 015-293-1667 or find us at 16 Woodcliff Street, Ladena. For the best deal in town, call today and save money.
One Nation FM broadcasting all across Polokwane City on 88.9.
All right, if you just tuned in, you're listening to The Robust View on One Nation FM. This there's a lot that is going on, and I think it's better if we have a radio station that really explain it better for those who are listening. And I know a lot of people are not really into current affairs. That I guess they find it very boring. But it's important you understand how politics works. It's important that you understand how procedures work in your own government, your own country, so you know how it affects you. Because a lot of people started getting interested in petrol prices when they feel it directly in their pockets. But this feeling has been coming all along. I mean, petrol prices have been increasing for a long time, and the developments have been happening whether internally or outside. So now we're talking about the repo rate, which for a long time has remained unchanged until recently. So I think it's key that we then start discussing it so people can understand. And what better way to do it? I'm joined on the line by Kandani Msibi. And Tata Msibi, good evening and welcome to the show.
Good evening, sir. And thank you very much for having me on the show.
They said that the repo rate has increased. How much has it increased? And what does this mean?
Look, the increase of the repo rate is very bad for the economy. I mean, we have just had the reports of the inflation, the recession, that we are almost entering. In the first quarter, we had a negative growth. The Reserve Bank should not be increasing the repo rate in this environment, in that it is increasing the cost of capital for business and making job creation very much difficult, in that when the cost of capital increases, business does not invest, or rather the cost of capital becomes very expensive for business to invest. So I'm really disappointed that the Reserve Bank is pursuing an inflationary approach at all costs, even at the time that the economy is declining, that they see it fit to increase the repo rate.
So people who have, prospective ideas to lend money, how does this affect them? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, I'm saying, how does the increased repo rate affect those who want to get credit?
It's negative in a sense that it increases the cost of borrowing to both the consumers and business. And it depresses the consumption, which is necessary for economic growth. But for the economy to grow, more people must afford to buy more things. But when you increase the repo rate, you are actually reducing money supply in the economy. You are taking more money out of the consumers' pockets and putting it into the Reserve Bank and declaring it as a dividend to national treasuries. This kind of an action indicates the lack of synchronization of a strategy between the government and all its other organs, because where we are, the Reserve Bank should be looking at stimulating the economy as opposed to putting further depressant in the economy.
So you're saying they had a choice, and they have a choice to come up with other mechanisms to make our monetary policy better. So what choices are they?
Look, if you look at what other countries have done, if you look at the United States, when they were going through a bad economic cycle, they came up with what they call quantitative easing, which means that they put more money in the pockets of consumers so that consumers can afford more. We're at a time when the economy is not growing, but the Reserve Bank is taking more money out of circulation, which actually means that we could be entering a period whereby the actions of the Reserve Bank result in a further economic contraction because they've taken money from consumers and business.
But isn't the idea of releasing money into the country what killed the economy of Zimbabwe?
It's a different matter altogether. What we are talking about here is that the economy is contracting, it is not growing, and then you further punish actors in the economy, which is the consumers and business, by taking more money